This rally is way beyond the rumor. I think the rally today is about a flight to quality with all the issues around the Israeli war now, global terrorism. And I think there's more people running into a fight to quality, whether that is in treasuries, gold, or crypto, depending on how you think about it. And I believe crypto will play that type of role as a flight to quality.
Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market are pumping after a crazy news week, including a fake Bitcoin spot ETF approval, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink taking to CNBC and touting crypto as a flight to quality, and the SEC officially dropping all charges against Ripple, meaning that XRP is officially deemed a non-security. You can expect to hear about all of this and more in today's episode of the Everything Crypto Show. Now, before we hop into the content, just a friendly reminder that I am not a financial advisor and I do not offer financial advice on YouTube. I am simply here for your crypto entertainment purposes, and if I am successful in entertaining you whatsoever, please consider hitting that sub and like button, as it does mean a lot and it shows me that you are enjoying the content. So without further ado, we're going to hop right into the news for this week, and it has been a crazy one for sure. So starting off here with Cointelegraph, this is one of the biggest crypto news outlets. It's actually one that I use pretty frequently for my crypto market updates, and they actually dropped some news earlier this week that a Bitcoin spot ETF was approved. Now, they later went back to apologize for this tweet that quote-unquote led to disinformation of inaccurate information regarding the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF. An internal investigation is currently underway. We are committed to transparency and will share the findings of the investigation with the public once it is concluded in 3 hours. Now, very interesting here. We actually saw rollbit.com. This is a crypto gambling website, and they're basically showing you here that Cointelegraph in turn may have profited off of this tweet. So it definitely could have been an inside job. We can see it says breaking, SEC approves iShares Bitcoin spot ETF. Bitcoin pumped here all the way above 30,000 and then quickly came right back down as soon as it was revealed that this was fake news. Now, whether or not this tweet here from Rollbit is actually legit, this definitely could have just been, a joke playing off of what happened here. But I mean, regardless, I think a lot of people do suspect that there was some sort of inside information going around, or somebody at Cointelegraph trying to make a profit off of this. And if they did so, they definitely would have been successful here if they just leveraged the crap out of Bitcoin and then pushed this tweet out. So we don't know exactly what happened here yet, but definitely does hurt the credibility of Cointelegraph. And we did actually see Bitcoin pretty much, make these gains and then give them all back within a single day, right? Within like a 10-minute period, actually. So this is the candle right here where we saw that fake news come out that the Bitcoin spot ETF was approved, came right back down. But interestingly enough, over the past couple of days, Bitcoin has kind of slowly but surely grinded its way back up to this level. And I think this has to do with not what happened with Cointelegraph, but rather what BlackRock CEO Larry Fink said following this entire incident. Now, I know that I played this clip at the beginning of the video, but I'm going to play it for you one more time so you can really hear what the largest asset manager in the world has to say about Bitcoin.
This rally is way beyond the rumor. I think the rally today is about a flight to quality with all the issues around the Israeli war now, global terrorism. And I think there's more people running into a fight to quality, whether that is in treasuries, gold, or crypto, depending on how you think about it. And I believe crypto will play that type of role as a flight to quality.
So you heard it right there live on CNBC. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink calling this move into Bitcoin a quote-unquote flight to quality. And yes, this is incredibly relevant as at the moment, according to Statista, BlackRock is reportedly managing about $9.43 trillion worth of assets. Now, no asset manager comes even close to this level here. In fact, in second place, I believe comes Fidelity, who does handle about $4.5 trillion worth of assets. And even more interesting is the fact that Fidelity has in fact also applied for a Bitcoin spot ETF. So just between the two of these companies alone, you're talking about $14 trillion potentially in assets under management sitting on the sidelines that could be exposed to the potential of a Bitcoin spot ETF. And I do also want to talk about the fact that he spoke about treasuries in that video, talking about treasuries as a flight to quality. And this is a really good tweet from Dylan LeClaire, which basically shows you the drawdown from all-time highs. So at the moment, Bitcoin is down 58% from its all-time high, while the TLT, this is basically the US 20-plus year government bond ETF, this is now down 51%, okay? And a very good point was made here that if you adjust for dividends with reinvestments put, TLT is down 47% from all-time highs, but also worth noting that this tweet came out on October 18th here. Bitcoin now should actually be down less than 58% from that all-time high drawdown, as we have seen a nice move today, while it is re-challenging that $30,000 level. And basically he says, rewrite the rule book, it is about to get weird. And this is something we've been talking about on the channel for a while, okay? Nobody wants to recognize that Bitcoin is a flight to safety. Nobody wants to recognize that the dollar is basically the biggest illusion of safety out there, okay? You have $10,000 in your bank account at the start of 2020, then you have $10,000 in your bank account today, and it is worth substantially less than it was a couple of years ago. Even though the amount is the same, your purchasing power has been shot down, okay? They tell you inflation's at, 3%, whatever they say. That is complete and utter crap, okay? The price of gas and groceries are up at least 50% from those COVID lows, and yeah, I mean, that's the whole point. It's basically just an illusion of safety here, whereas Bitcoin does give you more volatility up front, but clearly versus its USD pair, it has outperformed the US dollar drastically. And one way to actually look at this is, instead of actually doing, the most common way to kind of do it is Bitcoin to USD. And that's a look at the Bitcoin price performance. But how about we inverse this and actually look at USD versus Bitcoin, and then take a look at the maximum performance. The US dollar is down about 99% versus Bitcoin. And this is the number one chart right here that most people, anyone who has an interest in the US dollar probably does not want to show you, or just anyone who's bearish on Bitcoin. This is the chart they don't want you to see, is that basically any currency compared to Bitcoin, as opposed to comparing Bitcoin to any currency, it looks like this, because most currencies either stay flat or go down or lose purchasing power due to inflation, while Bitcoin has been a very good hedge for that if you do ignore the volatility. And this is a chart here from Charts BTC, basically saying Bitcoin's 4-year cycle unfolds in this chart, aligning current prices with past cycles. Will central banks disrupt this trend or turbocharge it? So you are here. And the big point being made in this chart is that, everybody says this time is different. People say on the bullish and the bearish side, right? Like, I've heard people say this time is different. There's no more 4-year cycle. Bitcoin's going down. Or people say this time is different. Bitcoin's going to, move faster than that 4-year cycle and outperform. And basically, if you take a look at this chart, it's pretty obvious that Bitcoin is actually exactly in line with its previous 2 cycles, right? And what you can see from here is that we are looking at potentially a little bit more of a sideways shuffle over the next couple of months, or really over the next 6 months, more or less. But leading into the Bitcoin halving, that is when things start to get fun. So let's actually take a look at the Bitcoin halving clock. Let me find that for you guys here. Let me take a sip of my coffee as it loads. Okay, so the next Bitcoin halving occurs in 175 days, April 12th, 2024. So yes, we are give or take about 6 months away from the next Bitcoin halving, and that has always been the thesis, that, you know, when that Bitcoin halving occurs is when the price action will get super juicy here for Bitcoin. Now, speaking of the price action, the one thing I do want to kind of take note of is the fact that although Bitcoin has seen a nice move here, we talk a lot, we spoke about October on the channel and how historically Bitcoin does perform well in October. We're up about 9.19% in the past month here and still up an impressive 78% year to date, which is why it baffles my mind that people were bearish on Bitcoin here when it was sitting at 26K. It was still up 50%, outperforming all of the major indices. But the point is, I am not, you know, I'm not really eyeing this move on Bitcoin particularly until I actually see a substantial move above $32,000. Okay, Bitcoin's yearly high sits at about 31.8K, and until we break that level and break above 32K, everything else is basically just noise as far as I'm concerned. But still definitely nice to see this price action coming in here for Bitcoin. Now, the other thing I do want to kind of talk about here aside from Bitcoin is two important pieces of news that came out this week. For starters, for those of you that are unaware, Reddit actually had their very own cryptocurrency Moon, and this was kind of like a points program for Reddit users. And effectively, they made the decision this past week to sunset community points. Essentially, what they said was there was no path to scale it broadly across the platform, and from a corporate context, the regulatory environment added to scalability limitations. Though the moderators and communities that supported community points have been incredible partners, as it's evolved, the product is no longer set up to scale. And here is the cryptocurrency that Reddit was actually using for community points. It was called the cryptocurrency Moon. And take a look here at this performance over the past 7 days. Whenever it loads, I'm going to show you guys. I mean, it's essentially, you know, Reddit more or less completely rug pulled their community. If you earn this Moon token for free, I mean, I'm sure you don't care too much, but obviously still not nice to lose 82.8% of its value. But if you actually used your own hard-earned money to buy this token, then yeah, I mean, you know, it wiped out so much money here. Let's take a look at the market cap. So this thing started a market cap of 25 million, now down to a market cap of about 4 million. So more or less about $21 million was sucked out of this token over the past 7 days alone. And to wrap things up here, I do want to talk about Ripple, and more specifically how the SEC actually dropped their lawsuit versus Ripple. So we can see here that this does also mean the ruling that XRP is not a security has in fact been finalized. And I believe this comes here right from the attorneys for the SEC. Who is this? Yeah, so this is Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson, and they basically said it is now stipulated and agreed that the claims alleged by Plaintiff Securities and Exchange Commission against defendants Bradley Garlinghouse and Christian A. Larson are hereby dismissed in their entirety with prejudice and without costs or fees to either parties. So this is a very good piece of news here, as in a letter to District Judge Annalisa Torres on Thursday, the SEC notified the court of the stipulated dismissal of its pending claims against Garlinghouse and Larson, effectively meaning here that XRP is in fact deemed a non-security, the only altcoin with any sort of regulatory clarity at the moment. So suffice to say, it has definitely been a very big week for crypto, and specifically Bitcoin and XRP, two of the biggest ones out there in terms of that market cap. So on that note, I hope you did enjoy the content in today's video. You know what to do. If you made it all the way to the end, you are an absolute champion. Let me know in the YouTube comments down below and claim that champion status. I'm wishing you all an amazing Friday and an amazing weekend ahead, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out for now.